Hey y'all, it's Indigo here, back with another round of Grand Arena Championships. This will be round 3 of week 2, getting caught up on that. I've got a pretty fun match. I was matched up against one of the top officers in my guild, Yoda Force. He's a really good player, and you can see that he already had gone by the time I did my attacks and cleared off all my ground and left it with just the fleet, and he one-shot everything. And if you're curious about what I said on defense, just take a look at his defense. What we did was do basically a mirror match, and we both set the exact same thing, and we both had the exact same thing left for offense. Wanted to see who could do it better. Now, I'm not an efficiency player, but it at least seemed kind of fun to set something and get some practice in and just see who could be more efficient. Take a look at the top zone here. That's where the GLs are. Got a Kylo First Order team, Rey with Resistance, and then just a leftover, like a C team, but with leftover Sith. Nothing too fancy there. And then down here on the bottom, this is going to be the easier zone. Obviously, the top is the toughest, and the easier zone down here on the bottom is just Grievous with BB-8, and then a Padme team. So like I said, we both set the exact same thing and just trying to see who could do it better. And he was able to one-shot freaking everything, which was surprising. It also does go to show you, we're still only setting 7 ground squads on defense. And since GAC came out, we've gotten so many more new characters. So at the top end, and he's like 8 mil and I'm close, we could probably be setting 10 squads down and still have leftover characters. So there's a limit to how tough you can make your defense and still have, plenty of firepower left to clear the board depending on what your opponent set. Right now you see me just using Imp Troopers against his C team. It's a pretty fun counter. I love using Imp Troopers, especially with Moff Gideon in there. I mean, he just gets the team going with his turn meter reset and all the good stuff that he has. And then, of course, Piet is the engine driving the team. As soon as he gets all those buffs out, that Emperor's Trap, he just adds fuel to the team and keeps them going. So C is not really too hard to take out if you have these guys. And even if someone comes across that, and you see him put C down with a Darth Revan team underneath C lead, you can still take him out with Imp Troopers. It just takes a little bit of practice. So, I mean, we could have done that, but nobody wants to work too hard. You see those guild matchups, and people will be like, oh, we put down our Gear 6 characters so that we could each solo and get blah, 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 max points. That's not fun to me. Like, that would be boring. I would rather try against hard squads and practice some counters and, just have fun in that way than I would going against Tuskens with my Darth Scion trying to solo him for max points. I mean, it accomplishes the same thing in the end, I guess, but it's a lot more fun doing this, putting down 3 GLs on defense and some other stuff, and just getting some practice in where we can. I mean, one of us has to win and one of us has to lose. We might as well make it fun. So there you go, 60 banners with imps. That's usually par for the course with them. They're pretty good at that. Next, we'll move on to Rey. And so he's got Rey with Resistance, got the bros in there, got some tanks with JTR. She can add a little bit of difficulty just because she's got that wave, which will remove some turn meter from your end and ability block you. And then she's got that locked healing immunity that she can throw down, and that gets to be a pain. But it's not too hard for the Jedi. This is where I chose to use my Jedi Master Luke, and then of course Yoda happened to be on. You can see his chat message down there in the corner. He's like, oh, my C. No, he was giving like the play-by-play in our guild chat about what happened. But you know, it was just fun. It's fun going against somebody. And, you know, back when, before they changed the matchmaking system and it was ranked solely on GP, I used to do that with guildmates all the time, try to see who I was close to and who I could get matched up with. And they just made it kind of harder now. It's all based on the top end of your roster. And so you got to factor all that stuff in. It's a lot harder to get matched up. But I did used to get matched up with a couple of guildmates on purpose, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And this is pretty fun. You know, everyone likes to see how their squads perform. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't record his stuff, but he at least told me how my squads did and what he did. And then hopefully he'll get a chance to watch this video and he can see how his squads are on defense. You know, everybody likes a little bit of feedback. You put all these work into these characters and spend all this time and money and relics and everything, getting your squads up. And then you see that, oh, well, this is how easily they fall, or this is what happens. This is where I can improve. So it's a good opportunity for some feedback to be able to know where you stand and what you need to do to make things better, I guess. You can see Jedi are having no trouble with his Rey. Got Rey out first, and then it's just kind of cleaning up the rest of them. And that in itself can be tricky. Takes some time just because they all have to hit that damage immunity still. And then you got to punch through that. So people actually can and do time out on this stuff in like territory wars, or if you see Grand Arena and you wonder why Rey is dead, but there's still some characters there, is because they killed Rey and then were doing their cleanup and just ran out of time. You know, all these complicated moves we have and everything that takes longer animations, and we still only have the 5-minute battle timer for battles. So it can get a little dicey. Sometimes you got to throw it on auto, see what happens. Here, though, you don't want to do that because Luke's efflux removes turn meter, and you'll keep removing turn meter if they have damage immunity, and they'll never take a turn. You can actually time out that way. You got to just hit basics, and that way eventually they will take a turn. So I'm just trying to go through basic. You see how long it's taken. A minute on the clock, you know, minute and a half, and I'm still just trying to clean up the last characters here. And Rey was gone ages ago. So it's not about losing to the other team where they're going to kill my team. I don't have to worry about that. But timing out is a very real risk with this matchup. So there we go. Was able to get it. Not the prettiest. Only 55 banners there. This was the one that I really wanted some practice in. And I'll show you guys a couple things. You guys have probably all seen this matchup. Just a standard Supreme Leader Kylo team with First Order. And using my Jedi. I've got Jedi Knight Revan, Bastila, Jedi Knight Luke, Hermit Yoda, and Old Ben. And my Jedi Knight Luke is Relic 8. So he hits nice and hard and does what he's supposed to do. Everything's going according to plan. You know, we've got certain steps you got to do the counter and get everybody up and going and buffed up, and everything is as it should be. And I'm biding my time till I can take out Red Trooper. See, I move over to Red Trooper, use Revan's special here, call Luke, take him out. Perfect. Everything's going according to plan. The next thing that should happen is I'd get my Hermit Yoda's turn and do his big heal that gives everyone foresight. And that way when Kylo goes, he misses. That does not happen here. Like, his Kylo went first and lapped my Hermit Yoda somehow. I've never had that happen. So he took away my Jedi Knight Revan straight off the bat, and not having Revan there as a damage dealer, as a healer, being able to throw turn meter to Luke, and being able to, importantly, direct focus. Not having that is huge. Like, that sucks. And he's got a Relic 8 Kylo, so he hits hard. So I'm able to take out one tank. I've got one tank left. I've got Hux left. Got to get everybody out. Hux is ability blocked. Problem is, the debuffs don't matter when Kylo does his AoE. Look at that. He is just putting in work. So it went from bad to worse real quick. And I'm just trying to figure out who can I take out. Things aren't looking good for me. Try and get an ability block on Kylo so at least he can't do his AoEs and clear the buffs away. Going after Hux, trying to heal up. Got it down to just Kylo. Put the blind on him, but blind doesn't matter. Right there, he went into ultimate. Like a couple more turns, I think I would have been in good shape. Or at least another turn. But when he went into ultimate there, I mean, that did it. Because then you're wasting a couple of attacks while he's in ultimate. And you're just doing damage. And it's not enough. Not against a GL anyway. Look at that. Got me into the red. Nothing I could do. So, that was unfortunate. Now you know the outcome of this round. He one-shot all my ground squads. And here I am having to clean up his Kylo. So, I'll just throw some Geos in there. Let them go to work. Spy's got the big hit. Should be enough. Get Kylo down a bit. Clean him up nice and easy. And nobody should die. So, it's an easy cleanup. But I'm pissed that my Jedi counter didn't work. Like, I put a lot of work into the Jedi to make them specifically be able to counter that team. And I've never had that happen where Kylo just laps my Hermit Yoda. Like, that's not been an issue. So, unfortunately, I mean, that's the way it shakes out. I'll go down here, kill the rest of these ground squads. And you can see how those turned out. We put a BB-8 with GG just because everybody puts Newt. You see Newt a lot in almost every GAC, and you see him in TW, and there's a good reason for that. I mean, the whole reason to put Newt there is because it makes it harder to use Night Sisters, whereas BB-8 doesn't really add much. They can do a lot of damage, but against Night Sisters, they're still going to fail. Like, you're going to lose your protection anyway, so the most you can get is max health, usually around 55 banners, and that's the way Night Sisters work. So BB-8 in there is really good if you're facing, some other team. They're trying to use a different counter. That can hurt them and take away some points and help you out. But against Night Sisters, it really doesn't matter. BB-8, I think, is easier than even Droideka in there. I'd rather have BB-8 in there. Because they go first, do what they're doing, get some kills. That actually will just strengthen up your team with Daka Zeta and Asajj's Rampage. They just power up every time somebody dies. So you just keep plugging away and you're fine. So it really doesn't matter that BB-8 is in there and speeds up the enemy team. Lets them go first, do their thing. Yeah, it's not a big worry. I'm just trying to go, use some basics, get some assists from the grave, and then bring everybody back, and my team's that much stronger. Keep going. You can see that I'm slowly kind of whittling them down. Got Plague. Trying to take out B2 here just because he's a bit annoying with all his debuffs and constantly gaining turn meter and everything. Trying to knock him down, bit by bit. So there he went. There also, the other one went. I just got B1 left with Grievous. So that's not hard. I just got to make sure. You saw Daka's stunned over there. And she's in the yellow. I want to get her out of the yellow because Grievous likes to target her if she's in the yellow. And we definitely don't want that. She's going to bring everybody back. So there she goes. Bring them all back. Lone Grievous. You know how this turns out. Once it's Grievous by himself, that's it. So, doesn't really matter. He's stunned, he's plagued, he's low health, done and dusted, 55 banners. That's the way the match should play out, every time unless something goes horribly wrong. And then he set his Padme. We don't get to use this much these days, but it does work. So it was a good time to, again, get some practice in doing this because I don't get to do this a whole lot. And it's use your CLS team against Padme. And we used to not be able to do this until Chupio came out. With Chupio, he just hits so hard, he's got the blind that will clear off all the buffs. And that really helps you to kind of mitigate the protection up. And the AoE is just huge, heavy damage. That way you can start taking everybody out. Just keep doing that. Whittle them down. Get Anakin out of there, and once he's gone, it's a lot easier to control the match. You don't have to worry about heavy damage coming your way. You just got to work down Ahsoka, Padme. You're pretty much stuck hitting GK. Just wail away on him for a bit and let the AoEs do their work. He's got R2 in there, so it's going to boost the stats of the team a little bit, but it should be negligible. Just keep going after GK. You see they're not doing much any damage to him. It really doesn't matter, though. I just buff up when I get the chance, throw a blind on there, keep going, keep going. Everybody's going to assist and constantly give protection up back to GK, and that's fine. Like I said, just buff up, keep going, and then you can do the AoEs, and that's really what's going to wear down the team. You can see I've got R2 and Ahsoka, both in the yellow. Padme's missing some health, so that's the way we want to keep it. Just keep going with AoEs, and that way we can start getting them out of there. That's all you do. Take them down piece by piece. It's nothing too, complicated or fancy. Just straightforward, keep going, keep buffing up, power up, and take everybody out bit by bit. You can see that Ahsoka's gone. Still going after GK mainly because there's nothing else I could do. And look at that. The AoE just kind of clears the board. Once Padme's gone, GK falls easily. 60 banners. So easy peasy counter. If you get the chance to use it, it's highly effective. Here in the back, he's got a Beskar Mando team and a Mon Mothma team. So we'll take those out real quick. I really like this counter, and it's Bounty Hunters against Beskar Mando. I started using it in 3v3 just because it was a cheap counter and a good use for Bounty Hunters. And then I started trying to use it in 5v5, and it seems to work well. As long as you can get a speed boost, go first. You can get the team to fall, and they fall like dominoes. You just got to work on taking out Beskar Mando as soon as you can, because if he gets off them whistling birds, they hurt. You guys know how those are. Once he stacks those up to 20, they will tear up any enemy team they go against pretty much. So I don't want that happening to me. My goal is just to go, get my contract off, and then if I have to, I'll disintegrate enemy Beskar Mando and get him out of there. So if I need to disintegrate him, fine. Right now, he's in the red. So if I can just do a big enough hit, I can take him out. So right here, I was thinking, do I waste to disintegrate? Or do I try to disintegrate someone else? Or what do I do? Do a big hit? So I went with the big hit, calling the assist just in case. Because what if he would have dodged? Like, wouldn't you feel dumb if you did a basic and then he got a rare dodge and then turned around and nuked your whole team? Like, that would suck. So it's better to waste the assist call, and that way you've got some backup. And then I have that disintegrate save for later still. So that's my plan. Go back around to Mando. Once I get back around to Mando, I can disintegrate Nest. So there we go. Not going to make that mistake again. Disintegrate her, get her out of the way. And with her out of the way, it takes a minute to grind down the rest of these. Because, okay, L3 will heal, and IG will heal, Quill will heal. Like, between the three of them, they're pretty tanky. So you got to watch out for that. You really got to get Quill out of there kind of as soon as you can, and then the others will fall easily enough. I'm going after L3 because I'm stuck behind the taunt. So doing all the hits I can, trying to get big hits in. Got Jango's rocket. She keeps shrugging off the debuffs, and that's fine. That's what she does. She's a really strong tank. Look, I got her down into the red, okay? But now she's not taunting anymore, so I'm stuck on IG. So I'm doing hits on IG. Can't move off of him because Mando had died and lost that bounty hunter's resolve, and then there she goes. She heals back up into the yellow, and she constantly counterattacks. So that sucked. Like, she's healing back up more than I can do damage, and I'm constantly stuck behind IG's taunt, so nothing I can do but keep lasting until Mando gets his disintegrate back up and comes back around. So that's what I'm doing, even though it takes time and it's kind of boring. I mean, look at that. All the dog piles and everything on IG does absolutely nothing. Now I've got disintegrate up. Just disintegrate IG right there. Now he won't taunt and steal my focus away. So I was able to take out Queel, and then once they're gone, L3 just falls. I mean, she's got nobody else helping her out. She does have all her own buffs, you know, from her ability. So she is still pretty stout, but the team can take her out. It's just a bit messier. You can win this for an easy 60 if things go right. I wasn't able to get that quite there, but still a win nonetheless, so I'll take it. Now I'm going against his Mon Mothma, and the team I got left for that is just EP Vader. I've got Bastille in there, I've got Thrawn, I've got Watt. I mean, this team's going nowhere. Long as you go, put your techs out, you're in good shape. And if you can spare Watt to use against Mon Mothma, the weapons tech is huge. That no revive, once Vader gets going and starts killing, you know, they're not coming back. So it doesn't matter what she does or who's with her or what they do. Nobody's coming back. You just got to end up killing them with Vader and you're fine. So Cullen Blade to the face, and that's it. Like, I've just got tanks to deal with, Kara and K2SO there. But look at that. I've got Thrawn. I was thinking, should I fracture? Should I send another turn back to Vader? What am I going to do? Plenty of debuffs. Yeah, this is easy. So if you have Vader to spare with all the good toys, have at it. I mean, it's pretty fun. There's so many different counters you can use for Mon Mothma that you can take your pick. As long as you can beat them in speed, and then you've got some mechanic that will prevent revives, they can't do anything to you. It's only once they get going and start getting spun up and then she brings them back from the dead that they become a problem. And I don't have to worry about that here. So that's it. Just K2 left to deal with. And look, it's Vader's turn again. So I can throw dots, go into Merciless, and the Culling Blade to finish it off. There we go. And another 60 for that team. Easy peasy. So that's it for the ground. Just ships left. Speed through those because we both just said junk, you know, Radis. And I told him to put Finalizer because you never get to fight that nowadays. Like, nobody sets it on defense. I know it kind of sucks, and that's why people use it for a counter fleet against, I think, Negotiator. But it's just something different to fight on defense. I don't want to fight Negotiators or anything, so we set Radis and Finalizer, the both of us. I got 66 with my Negotiator against his Radis, and then I got 60 with my Malevolence against his Finalizer. So there you guys have it. That was my guildmate matchup here. That was the best I could do. As far as fleet, I think that went okay. 2092, which isn't a bad score. And normally if you set a heavy enough defense, you know, you might cause your opponent to stumble. But he did not. So he ended up taking the win. He ended up clearing off my fleet for about the same banners I got, maybe a little more. So he would have beat me anyway had I not dropped a battle by at least a couple of points. So good on him. It was a really fun match, and we'll see you guys in the next week. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share your comments down below, and hopefully you'll check out my other videos on my channel. Peace.